So yesterday we were discussing about intensity transformations, right? As I told you, the chapter is broken into two parts. One is intensity transformation. Second thing is spatial filtering. In between, we'll study a very important topic, that is what is that? Histogram. Okay, interesting one. Okay, interesting topic. Histogram. Now let us go and see this. Topic. So, what was the intention, by the way? Yesterday we saw the Fourier transform of some random image, and it was concluded that if at all there are some values in the dark which you want to analyze better, the values which would otherwise be saturated, will be visible as noise. In that case, we will apply a logarithm function, and whenever there are some brightest space where probably you want to see, the borders among them, maybe the values are saturated too much. In such case, you will apply anti-log like power, nth power, so and so. Okay, that was about log transformations and saturation. So how do we do that, by the way? We simply access the variables, then afterwards we apply the thing what we need, right? So we started with negatives, and this is that very interesting curve, right? Negative is for some reason, as I told you, for some medical images. Sometimes you observe things better as they are for images. Sometimes you are comfortable with negatives, maybe. Okay, and then this was the log thing what I was talking about. Larger values suppressed, smaller values enhanced. Okay, so that the values which would otherwise be turned as noise shall be seen properly. But if at all you had simply saturated it by simply adding 50 or adding 80, then the higher values would have simply been saturated. Thank God. See, this is saturation, the value touching line touching this y-axis. Anything above 240 being simply shown as white, no, that should not happen. That is why the logarithmic curves. So the opposite of log curve is the power curves, okay, or the inverse log curve. Okay, so log of 100 is 2, and 10 to the power 2 is 100. Okay, so here are the inverse log curve. The inverse log curve is to suppress the lower values relatively and maybe enhance the higher intensities better. Okay, so depends on the requirement. Okay, depends on the requirement what doctor has ordered. Okay, did not mean it literally. Okay, the doctor thing. Okay. Next is, yeah, image negatives we saw. You simply subtract the value from 255, you would get that. And log example we took, right? Fourier transform is a good example, and there are several issues when you take the Fourier transform. We will address them in next module. Okay. Okay, okay. What next? Yeah, the power law transformation. So earlier we took the log. Log is like a square root of it, and this is the power law transformation. Same thing as you did yesterday. Just intensity above that you have to take certain power, and sometimes maybe you have to scale it by certain offset. Sometimes maybe. Okay, it depends on the kind of values you have. As I told you, one should be very careful. I have shared you the book, right? Could you access that? Yesterday, some 5 students had joined already when I shared the link. You could access that book, right? Two books I have shared. One is the second edition of digital image processing. Another one is MATLAB digital image processing. You see, the book is so 90s. Okay, book is very old, but concepts are still relevant. As I told you, be open to opportunities, be open to new technologies where you can apply these trivial things, but on a newer platform. So, did you get that book, by the way? All of you can access the book, right? Or do you need any permission, any issues? Somebody saw those books? Somebody saw those? At least the books, whether they have come or not? Hmm? Okay. I hope people are okay. You could access it, right? Yes. So, as I told you, it's all about accessing the the value, and then afterwards applying a suitable transformations. Okay, so a set of transformations. So what is this thing with gamma? Okay, now I don't want to go on writing a separate equation. Maybe I will write one set of equation and simply keep changing this gamma. Okay, so this is from the programmer's perspective. Okay, equations from the programmer's perspective, maybe. Okay, what next? Yes, I told you yesterday, I'm not going to quote it today, or the deal with gamma corrections. Okay, to deal with gamma corrections. So what is the thing, by the way? So it is the thing with a, a TV. Whatever you observe on TV, it may need sometimes a gamma correction. Okay, so here author has mentioned. Did you explore, by the way, online somewhere what is gamma correction and where it is usually applied? Okay, gamma correction is this thing where you tend to get some dull sort of images, and then you are supposed to scale it by certain factor, to get better correction. Okay, corrected image as viewed on the same monitor. Okay, due to some technical issues with the way the principles behind the image generation, the from one counterpart, maybe from TV monitor to the computer screen, the same thing. You might have even seen, right, whenever there is a TV being shown inside a TV, right? Have you seen that thing? When you show a TV inside a TV, you tend to get some weird kind of lines in there, right? You might have observed. And if at all in some old movies, if at all the hero and heroine are sitting on the couch and they are watching some TV, you can see some lines moving on. It will give you a weird impression, and so. It's unrelated, but what I'm telling is what you perceive will differ from on the kind of interface you have. As I told you, a curious case of gamma correction. You are always expect you to go and search it yourself. Okay, so here author is once again shown few cases. Okay, so power law transformation. Sometimes, as author says, what is the difference, by the way? This image is good. This image is better. Okay, what author says is fractured human spine or can okay, okay. What has happened here is from this curve, after applying the transformation, finally one could arrive at this particular point. Okay, so what is the difference, by the way? We are no doctors, but one can see probably here, this particular area was earlier not visible here in a better manner. Now it is somewhat, you know, observable, right? Now it is somewhat observable. Now I don't know which is this fractured spine sort of thing, but I could tell that this perspective and this perspective is little different. Okay, while the higher values in this particular region, you can see this particular region, higher values are simply turned out into white patch. The values in the dark are somewhat nicely visible. Okay, are somewhat nicely visible. This is once again gamma transformation. As I told you, this ain't no saturation. Okay, what comes to our mind, make darker thing bright, means simply add some numbers to it to make it look white or make it look dark. No, but these transformations are all about retaining all the values. None of the values, non-zero value, should go to zero. That is the intention. Okay, that should be kept in mind. Okay, okay. What next? Yes. So yeah. So here is one more case where this particular city image had been giving an impression of being washed out. But then they had a value of gamma. Then they had the value of gamma greater than 1, and you could see the images have been sort of compressed, and you can now get somewhat crisper image. Okay, this ain't no washed out image. This is somewhat better image. Okay, results applying transformation with c is equal to and gamma equal to 3, 4, and 5, it seems. Wait a second, what was the expression for gamma? What was the expression for gamma? Let us go back. Expression for gamma is here. Okay, okay. Expression for gamma, look and see here. Expression for gamma is this one. Gamma greater than 1 tends to amplify the low intensity values. When things were washed out, what happened was everything was looking whitest white. Okay, even the darker values were looking white, right, lighter. So that's why what they did was, having gamma of something like 2, 5 and all, it brought you in this particular territory. When you applied the log transformation, you wanted to go in this territory. You wanted to see the the darker things. You want to make it brighter. Here everything is looking brighter or washed out, we should call it. Now, not in a good way. That's why they want to make a little darker things much more darker, and brighter things they want to keep them as they are. So, and it has worked for them. You can see it has worked for them. It's not the power. Gamma is not the power. You can see gamma is not the here you can see higher value of gamma for this particular equation is going to give you a curve something like this. Okay, a curve something like this. Okay, that was about log transformations and gamma transformation. Okay, then there is something called as piecewise linear transformation. What is piecewise transformation? A piecewise transformation is this: above 60% is all first class, above 70% is all distinction. Now that is piecewise transformation. Why did you call it as piecewise transformation? Let us see the previous transformation what we did. All the parameters, all the intensities, right? All the intensities were being applied the same expression, right? Every R is converted to S using the same expression, same measure applied to everybody. Okay, at least the same expression. Well, it turns out to be different, but expression was same. That was one type of approximation. What do you call it as? Log transformation, power law, and all those things. Okay. Then there is a second type of approximation where you are not applying the same approximation to all the values. Rather, you are going for some segment of some set of all pixels above 230 shall be simply converted to 255, or all the values below 150 shall be simply converted to 0, or retain all the values between 230 to 250 shall be converted to red. All the values between 100 to 120 shall be converted to green. Okay, when you apply these kind of transformation, then you call it as piecewise linear transformations. Okay, piecewise is the term here. So where do you want to do that, by the way? Where do you want to do that? Applications include contrast stretching. Okay, so what is contrast stretching? Expands the range of intensity levels to span the full intensity. Now sometimes you want to highlight only a particular part of the entire image. In such case, you use this thing called as contrast stretching. Where does that happen? Say here is a some 8-bit image. Okay, here is some 8-bit image. So everybody there? Okay, yes. Here is some 8-bit image. What we want to do is, for some reason, now there is darker background and there are grains. Okay, author is interested in particular range of intensity. Now say this is 0 intensity, then this on the other X side there is 255. Okay, for some reason the author or the researcher is interested in only the values from 150, say 150 to maybe 200. Okay, can happen, right? Can happen. He wants them to be seen much more visibly, while he doesn't mind some compromise in the values before 150 and the values after 255. Okay, now see the measure. So he is applying a different measure for different set of intensity values. That is why piecewise. And in the process, what is doing? The process is piecewise linear transformation. But actual process, what is he trying to do? He is trying to stretch the contrast. He wants to see things better in between. He wants to differentiate between this 150 and 175. The values in between these intensities shall be differentiated better. More the intensity difference, more easier for us to separate them, right? For example, if at all I throw a heap of oranges and a heap of what do you say? What is that? Okay, sorry. Let me take okay. Heap of oranges and heap of green mangoes. Okay, if at all I throw them and I ask you to separate the oranges and the green mangoes. Okay, let me say so green mangoes. The task, when you compare this task with a heap of lemons, okay, lemons can be anything from a pale green, greenish yellow, and yellow, light green, greenish yellow, and then yellow. Okay, it comes in several range from green to yellow. Whereas if at all I ask you to separate the ripe one from the other unripe one, the task is going to be complex because there isn't much difference between them. Whereas if at all I ask you to separate the green mangoes with oranges, Now since they are of contrasting colors, right, the intensities are much far apart, it is easier for to you to separate, distinguishly observe them. So that is the task of contrast stretching. Okay, that's the task of contrast stretching. And you can see this particular image when you apply the contrast stretching, where it is cool. Okay, and what you can do, sometimes they go for thresholding also. Okay, sometimes they can go for thresholding also. So on one side extreme there is a simple linear transformation, okay, image as it is. Then there is contrast stretching, which can be explained with certain expression. You can see here, r1 to s1 can be, you will apply certain set of expressions. And then there is thresholding. Anything below, you keep it as it is. Anything below 150, say anything below 150, you make it 0. Anything above 200, you make it white. Okay, anything, suppose as I told you, okay, let me okay. Now suppose I have intensities, okay, it's like this particular image. Say I tell anything below 150, anything below 150, let me make it 0. Okay, let me make it 0. Anything above 200, I will make it white maybe, or I may keep it 0 also. Okay, depends. And in between, I shall keep the intensities as it is, or I may apply some number. I will simply multiply them by 1.5, not 1. I will keep it as it is, so that all the distraction with lower values simply removed, all the distraction with higher values simply saturated, and you can analyze things better. That is called as thresholding. Okay, that is called as thresholding. Okay, so that is the task of contrast stretching. Okay, then what else can be there? Then there is thing called as intensity level slicing. Okay, then there is this thing called as intensity level slicing. So what's the deal with intensity level slicing? What is this intensity level slicing? Okay, there, right? Can you hear properly? Somebody, how is the network? Can you listen to me properly? I'm getting some okay. Hmm. Thank you. Okay. Hmm. So now next is intensity level slicing. What is this intensity level slicing? Something similar only. Okay, something similar. As I told you, highlight a specific range. Okay, highlight a specific range. Okay, that means only from intensities, as I told you with the same example, anything below 150 shall be completely converted to 0. Anything above 200 shall also be converted to zeros. All values between. Okay, now say there is a heap of um, what should I say, tomatoes. Okay, there are a set of tomatoes, or there are set of what example shall I take? Lemons. Okay, say lemons. Okay, there is a big heap of lemons, and you want to use image processing to tell how many of them are ripe, how many of them are overripe, and how many of them are unripe. Okay, too many lemons. Okay, so how do you do this thing? By the way, you take a black and white picture. Okay, say you take a black and white picture. Okay, those lemons which are of a dark green, those lemons which are of dark green, they may look black. Okay, I'm taking a very bad example here, right? What should I say? Okay, let me not take any examples. Okay, what should I do? Let me do this thing with colors. Okay, let me take this thing only. Okay, so there is some particular region of intensities that we are interested in. There are certain region of intensities that I am interested in. I shall keep those set of intensities as white maybe, or some number, and values above the intensity 0, values below the intensity 0. Okay, that may be an option. Or the other option is keep all the intensities above and below the region of interest as they are, and only in the region of interest you simply make them as, saturate them with certain values. Okay, all these graphs you can see, all these terms you can see, they simply translate to certain expression. If intensity, if image of x comma y is greater than, less than, greater than A but less than B, then IM is equal to give some number 128, 155. Then other else input is equal to output. Okay, that is the task of intensity slicing. Okay, so a nice example has been given here. Okay, yeah, this is better example instead of me guessing some weird examples. This is better. Okay, so here you can see this is the some angiogram photo. It seems author was interested in only this particular part. Okay, so to author all the remaining values, this doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter. So what he does, what he chose to retain these values. He chose to retain these values. So simply suppress the other values. Which other values? Those which are in the other mid-gray region. He will retain certain values. Okay. So, okay. Here, this is an interesting one. Approach B, you can see. In approach A, slicing information illustrated with range of intensities of interest selected in the upper end of the grayscale. Okay. Then result of transformation with selected area. Result of transformation selected area set to black. Selected area set to black. So that grays in the area of blood vessel in kidneys are preserved. Okay, depends on what you are trying to do. Okay, depends on the requirements of the person, but important thing for us is that different intensities are being applied, different intensity levels are being applied, different treatment. Okay, different treatment, selectively picking a certain set of values. Okay, now suppose you are trying to say this third umpire thing, or you are trying to predict the goal. Okay, your football match is going on and you are doing this image processing to predict whether the say a badminton thing, the cock, whether the whatever you are playing, okay, the shuttle, whether it went outside the line, okay, out, or whether it is inside the line, you are trying to predict. Then you are not interested in the green grass or all those things. You would be trying to separate only that particular intensity of the shuttlecock that you are using. Maybe remaining all the values are not of interest to you. Okay, that's the kind of approach that okay, making everything lighter, everything darker is not going to work in this situation. Hence the intensity level slicing. And the third thing would be the bit plane slicing. So whatever the transformations you applied to the intensity levels, 0, 120, 150, 255, now you are applying to the bits, the MSB, the LSB, okay, first bit, second bit, third bit. Because the larger bit, right, the bit in the MSB position, the significant bits carry the average information, whereas the lowest bits, they carry the details. So sometimes you may choose to retain the lower bits, and sometimes you may choose to retain the higher bits, depending on the situation. Now suppose, let us take an example. Now suppose there is some data to be transferred. Okay, and your data, you had some samples. Okay, suppose there was this analog data, you wanted to transfer this over a wire. Okay, all the digits were packed into each bits were quantized using 8 bits per sample. Each sample was quantized using 8 bits, but due to certain shortage of bandwidth, you have to make a compromise. You have to make a compromise. How do you do the compromise now with the bandwidth? Are you going to send only less number of samples? No, you don't do that, right? That's stupid. Okay, then what you can do is maybe you have a set of samples. Okay, each of them have been now counted using 8 bits. So what you can do is, now the bandwidth is less. Okay, so there is this big pipe, but the bandwidth is less. So initially what you can do is you can choose to send cut the data in terms of lesser bits, so which one do you want to send first? Which one contains the larger information and which one contains the details? So maybe I will choose to retain the MSB. I will first MSB, the next MSB, that I will send them one by one, right? Have you seen this Facebook and all? If at all there's WhatsApp, the network is low, but still you get the thumbnail very dull, washed out. Then afterwards it keeps getting better. Okay, if at all YouTube is streaming something at 140p or 240p, you can see early, initially there will be some dull washed out image, but you get the overview. Then afterward it keeps getting better. Okay, so in such case, similar applications, maybe you want to highlight the contribution. Okay, highlight the contribution made by individual bits. You may go for this particular approach, the bit plane slicing. So where have they done it, by the way? Where have they done it? Okay, okay, see here, see here. This is an example that they have taken of an 8-bit image. And here you can see the highest order bit, okay, contains the general overview. You can see the MSB, it contains the general overview, then little lesser details. And this one here, you can see this is the shortest detail. Even if there you are making some compromise here, still it doesn't make any difference. But these ones, they are of larger level. Depends, okay, these are of larger level, but these details contain some, they may contain some security data or something, okay. So depending on that. So here is a simple example how an image formation takes place and what can be contribution. Maybe the government may try to use this particular data and try to hide some watermark, something like 100 or something they write here in this particular thing, so that if at all data is sent as it is, you don't visible. But if see it carefully, maybe you can see this 100 somewhere in certain plane, okay. Now what next? Now let us see these things one by. Now let us see these things one by one in MATLAB. Okay. Now let us see these things one by one in. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Here, by the way, here is the reconstruction made. The original 8 bits and individual bits added. This is only with the bit plane 7 and 8, the MSB, and one little less width. You still fine, right? Still fine. But as and when you go on adding the lower bits, things keep getting better. Okay, things keep getting better. Okay, so why you need this particular bit plane slicing? Maybe sometimes you want to make a compromise in the number of bits to be sent, and you want to know which bit is choosing, which bit is deciding the pattern, which is a highest contributing bit. Maybe then you want to separate them in the bit plane. Okay. That's that. Okay. Now what next topic whatever we're doing is histogram. Okay, next topic that we'll be doing is histogram. What is a histogram? That you'll see in MATLAB only now. Okay, that you'll see in MATLAB only. Now let me go to MATLAB. Here I have opened the MATLAB window. Let me share the screen with you. Yeah, there. Okay, let me share the screen with you. Now can you see this MATLAB screen? Can you see the MATLAB screen now? Editor. Okay, sorry. Editor. Okay. Now here we are in the MATLAB thing. Okay. Okay. Anything spooky? Okay. No. Okay. What we will try to do now here? What we will try to do here is we will read this image, the cameraman image. Okay. We will read the cameraman image. Did you try something, by the way? Did you try something? I am show. I am cameraman. Okay. So here is the image of the cameraman. New share. Let me share with you my screen itself. Now can you see the cameraman? Last 10 minutes. Can you see my the cameraman here? I think you can see my bar also, right? I'm sharing the entire screen. Okay, okay. There is this cameraman. Now what we'll do in this particular cameraman image, now what we'll do, we will try to apply, yesterday we had seen the log transformation applying, right? So today what we'll try to do, we will try to apply the, what is that, intensity slicing thing here, okay? Intensity slicing thing here. So what I want to do, let me show you what I am trying to do here is, I have written a small program. I have written a small program. I took the image size. I took the image size, which is 512 cross 512. Then I took some dummy image and I simply copied the values. Then what I have written is all values below 160, they shall be 0. Okay, all values below 160 shall be 0. All values above 190 shall be 0. Remaining values, let them be as they are. Okay, remaining values, let them be as they are is what I have written. Okay, now let me run this particular thing. Okay, I read the image in this particular thing. So now uh, figure, wait a second. Here IM is the, this is the original image. Wait a second. Sorry. Here. Hmm? Uh, okay. So this was the original image. This was the original image. Now what I have done, I have applied the some transformation just to convince you that it is a possibility. Okay, just to convince you that it's a possibility. And you can see what I have done is, uh, I have decided to make all values before below 160 as 0, all values above 190 as 0. Okay. Okay, 0. So that I get to choose only that particular area. Maybe this is that particular area that I am interested in. Okay. So in case of a medical image, it's the doctor's wish, what he wants to keep. Other way is also possible. What else can be there? Other way is also possible. What can be the other way? If at all it is greater than 160 and less than 160 and okay. Else if greater than, is it a, it's a weird thing, right? Wait. If at all it is less than less than 160 and greater than 190, I make this thing 0 and this will I make it as 255 maybe. Okay. 255 maybe. Here we do not have any specific requirements, so it doesn't make much sense. Only when you're doing something very practical and something which is wait. Okay. Now what just happened? Okay, now see here, now the same image. Okay, values above lighter black, values below the intensity have been converted to white. Okay, so this is just an example. I showed you how to access the bits and what we want to do that. Okay. How to access the bits and what we want to do. What else can be done? What else can be done? Yeah, that was one example. The next thing is intensity plane slicing. Okay. Intensity bit plane slicing. Sorry, bit plane slicing. How do you do bit plane slicing? Let us try. Now the same particular image. Okay, now what I will do is say I am show. What I will do now, I will show you the contribution of the MSB. How do I do that? So this particular image, you can see the entire image. How can I only take the contribution from the 8th bit? You can see this is unsigned integer. 8-bit unsigned integer is my data type. And if at all I want to retain the, I want to show you the contribution from the 8th bit only, what I will do, I will use modulus operator. Okay. What I will do, I will use modulus operator. Okay. I will use modulus operator mod the image, comma 128. When I divide or multiply, divide by 128 that particular thing, maybe the remaining bits will be showing. This number is 255, right? So 254 divided by 128, then what is remaining? Okay, so it will show you the quotient or the remainder. I don't know. Well, modulus, does it give you the quotient or the remainder? I think I should pick the remainder, right? I think I should pick the remainder. Okay, so here you can see, can you see on the screen? Can you see on the screen? What should I pick, by the way? If at all the number is 253, and if at all I want to pick the contribution from the last bit, or on the other end, if at all I want to show you the contribution from the smallest bit. Okay, modulus of 2. I think I'm showing it the other way. Okay, so this is the contribution of the last bit. Oh god, it's dark now. Let me come one place ahead, maybe 16 more. 16 here, you can see all these values. There is contribution from each of this bit planes. Okay, no, I'm showing you the accumulated bit planes. Okay, if at all I want to show you, I should pick the quotient. Sorry, I should pick the quotient. Okay, so in this particular method, what I'm showing, I'm not picking individual bits, but I'm accumulating the contribution from individual of the bits. And you can see, as and when I go on adding the higher bits, the image is getting better and better. Okay, image is getting better and better. Okay, what this particular thing. So now the next thing is a histogram. Now the next thing is a histogram. Okay. So what is a histogram? Histogram is there is this command im hist. Histogram. What is a histogram, by the way? Can somebody any idea what is a histogram? Now see here. Okay, there is a display of the histogram. Can you see the histogram now? Anybody? Can you see the histogram? Somebody? Somebody just ping me. Can you see the histogram? Can you see my screen? It's in a different window, getting popped. Okay. Now, can you tell me? This is a histogram of the cameraman image. Okay. Now, can you tell me what do you understand by histogram? You see here, the x-axis contains values from 0 to 255. Y-axis contains some numbers 500, 1000, 2000, 4000, so and so. So what do you understand by histogram? Can you guess what do you understand by histogram? Can you? What this means is at 150. Okay. So what this means is at 150, you can see here, let me take this cursor. If at all at 150, say it is showing an amplitude of 2000, 300 maybe. Okay, okay. Where is I let me click somewhere. Let me click somewhere. Here at x equal to 150, it is showing 2225. What that means is there are 2225 pixels of intensity 150 light gray. Okay, and there are around 390 pixels of intensity 38. Okay, and there are some blackest black, right? And there are maximum, his quote itself was, the darkest black. Around 4000 pixels are there of lower intensities. Got this particular thing, what is meant by histogram. Now if at all I add all these values, add this value, this value, this value, all these amplitude values, it should give me a number to 512 cross 512, just like your probability, all the numbers added, all the amplitudes added from left to right should give me a number 512 cross 512. And these one indicate the relative values. And now what this histogram has to do with the appearance, by the way? What histogram has to do with appearance? Now if at all I display you, say let me show you, I am show, now I will show you an image. Okay, wait, not I am hist. Okay, wait, the annotation is still there. Remove. Okay. Now let me show you. See the histogram of this. Okay. Just see the histogram. Let me take 2 pointers here. You can see plenty of values between something maybe like 10 to 25. Okay. Then there is a peak here at around what's this number? What's this number? Maybe 160. Okay. Just remember this. Now what I will do, I will make a slight change in the